Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Olivia and this is my channel where I love to talk about all things nail polish. This video is one that I've been wanting to film for a while. I've been talking about filming it for a while and it is here. It's been a while since I've done one of these more chatty videos, and it has been a week. I'll get to that in a bit, but yeah, I've been looking forward to just kind of sitting back, relaxing, feeling like I'm talking to you all here. And if you are also in the need of just kind of some like low-key chill conversation, you have come to the right place. Today's topic is all about how to best go about sticking to a no-buy or low-buy in the context of nail polish, because that's what my channel is about. And I know that's something that I've been sharing some tips here and there throughout my videos over the past few months, but this video is one where I want to talk about that all in a more holistic way. As always, I'm gonna have timestamps in the description and in a pinned comment, so feel free to jump around and go to the spot that's gonna be most helpful for you. To begin with, by the way, if you see me looking down, it's because I have notes here on my iPad. The first topic that I've got here is why you might even want to consider going on a low buy or a no buy. And I would put these into a number of different categories. The first of which being probably the most obvious, which is for financial reasons. And I want to preface this by saying I obviously I have no idea or don't even need to know what anyone else's finances are. It's a very personal decision. It's up to you how and when and why you each choose to spend your own money. But I will say that I think that one of the things that has become increasingly common over the past few years is the widespread availability of I don't even know what you call those companies, what the term is for them. Things like Affirm, Afterpay, Klarna, etc. These companies where you're able to easily split payments or easily split purchases into multiple payments. I mean, it used to be the case where you would have to if you didn't have the funds for something, you would have to open a new credit card. Now it just kind of amazes me when you look and see when you're going to check out from an online shop, how easy it is to, instead of selecting your own credit card that you might have saved, you can just click a button and say, hey, well, I'm gonna choose to split this into multiple payments. And the reason I mentioned that this can be a slippery slope is that with the world of indie nail polish, especially with everyone having their own separate shop, it can be really easy to fall into the trap of doing multiple payments for this purchase at that shop, and then you're like, okay, cool, that's how I was able to afford that. And then a couple days later, another shop has a sale, and then you're like, oh goodness, I can't afford it, but I really want these polishes. So then you do another Afterpay with them, and that can all really add up, especially when those payments come due. So I'm not money shaming here. That's not my intention. But what I will say is, if you are someone who is increasingly finding yourself using those types of services to finance your nail polish purchases, that might be a sign that you may want to consider going on a no buy or a low buy. The another reason I would say maybe to consider thinking about a low buy or no buy is if you find that you're starting to run out of space to store it. There's so many different storage solutions out there. I know that for myself, I use these those little storage bins that y'all don't know what I'm talking about. I'm doing this this means anything. It's one of those bins, the see-through plastic organizers where you can they have little slots for your nail polish bottles and so on. I know other people use Helmers, like the IKEA drawers. Other people like to have a wall of nail polish. So there's any number of options that are out there. But I think that if you are starting to find that your nail polish collection is starting to outgrow the amount of space that you have available, that could be a sign to slow down. Consider doing a destash until you can maybe free up some space, instead of trying to solve the problem by just adding on more storage. Not that I've ever done that myself. And the last one would be this. This last one, I think, is my main reason of how I'm personally approaching my current spending, which I'll talk more about in a bit. But I would say also, if you're starting to feel overwhelmed by having too many choices out there, and I think that threshold is going to be different for each person. Like, there are some people who may start to feel overwhelmed by having too many nail polish choices when they reach 50. And they're like, you know what, I've got 50 nail polishes. This is way too many for me to choose from. I need to kind of pump the brakes. For other people, that threshold might be 100. It might be 250 or whatever. I think for me, I'm at about somewhere between around 350 to 400 nail polishes. And in recent months, I've started to feel like when I sit down to do my nails, I feel a little bit more, not anxious, but it takes me a little bit longer to go through my mind and go through my mental inventory of like, okay, what do I have? What colors and finishes do I have? What am I feeling today? And I know for myself that if it gets to the point where I start to mentally feel more overwhelmed and increasingly anxious or verging on anxious about the thought of trying to figure out which nail polish to wear, then that for me is taking out a great deal of the enjoyment from it. And so as I started to realize that I was hitting that point where, okay, there's just no point for me to keep adding on more and more nail polish, because I just, it doesn't make me feel happy to have to go through so many polishes and try to figure out which one I want to wear. So what I've been doing is increasingly going through my collection, figuring out which ones I want to destash. Let me see, do I talk about destashing later? Okay. Yes, I do have a destash little thing I'm going to talk about. So yeah, so those are the first few things I would say if you are considering a low buy, no buy. If you've heard about that as an option but haven't really done it for yourself, that's just these are just a few of the reasons why you might want to consider looking into that. The next topic is why I personally often feel the urge to buy more nail polish. To just kind of talk about what goes through my mind. Y'all, I will say, whenever I go to jot down my thoughts as I'm planning out my videos, there are some times where I'll write something down in a way where I know that wording is a little bit rough and I can't quite find the right words for it, but it's okay because I know at that time that that's not how I'm actually going to say it. I just, you know what I mean? But this time, I'm just going to say exactly what I wrote down because I just feel like there's no better way for me to put it. Okay. I wrote, life doesn't always feel good, but shopping does. I mean, this is where I will say that this week in particular has just been a lot. The world just feels like a really awful place right now for so many reasons. And it's a very strange feeling to like go to work and, you get all these emails from like the people at the top of the company being like, do more, more, more. And you're like, okay, cool. Like, I get that we all have we at my company, we have a job that we need to do. But at the same time, it can often be very difficult to try to focus on that and try to have that be at the front of my mind when I'm hearing about ICE, I'm hearing about Venezuela, I'm hearing about Palestine, I'm hearing about the people in Greenland, I'm hearing about the things that are happening right in my backyard here in Chicago. There's just a lot going on. And so I first, just as a tangent, I do want to encourage all of you, like, please check in on your loved ones. Ask people if they want to talk. Be an ear if you are able to take on that emotional load yourself. But also, if you're someone who needs that kind of care and love, make sure that you're getting that as well, like that you are talking to people and not keeping it all inside, because I know it is okay to not feel okay with the way that things are happening in the world right now. And so that I think is what really led to me writing it this way, which is life doesn't always feel good, but shopping does. And we think often about this concept of dopamine in a general sense outside of all this, where we often can get this like rush when there's something new, when there's like this something new, something exciting, like, ooh, yay, fun, right? But I think that I don't want everything that's happening in the world right now to be something that permanently like gives me permission to just go and spend, because that's not good for me ultimately. So I think that where I am really coming in with this is just making sure that I am slowing down and checking in on myself and asking myself, like, hey, what is it that I'm trying to get out of this? When I'm loading up an online shopping cart and about to go check out, is it that I am I bored? Am I feeling bored right now? Am I feeling kind of just tired? Am I feeling exhausted with the state of the world? Am I feeling going back to what I mentioned earlier about like, I don't know how the logic of this works. Maybe there is no logic, but like sometimes when I think, okay, on the one hand, I feel like I have too many nail polish choices as is. There's some part of my brain that then goes, okay, you know what we can do to fix that? Let's get more choices, because like my brain will be like, across the like 400 polishes that I already own, it doesn't want to go through the steps of trying to filter through and choose which one to wear from that. But what it does want to do is buy another one because it's there. This is the kind of stuff where, I think if nothing else, make sure that you're taking the time to really pause and reflect and just be real with yourself and ask yourself, like, what is your pattern, your personal pattern? Like, when do you tend to find yourself reaching for that, like, picking up your phone and scrolling through nail polish social media, scrolling through the shops and things like that? It's going to be different for everyone, but I will just say, if you can relate to the sentiment that I put out there of like, life doesn't always feel good, but shopping does. First of all, know that it's okay to feel that way. But at the same time, do be cognizant and aware of making sure that if shopping is starting to become a problem for you, you're going to want to start taking the steps to see what you can do to slow things down and make it something that's more manageable and sustainable for you. Okay, next, what I'm planning to do for this year in terms of like nail polish shopping and things like that. I know in around December and earlier this month, January for sure, I started to see a lot of videos, Reddit posts, things like that, where people in the nail polish community were talking about what their personal nail polish goals for 2026 were. And so whenever I would see that pop up, I would kind of think and ask myself, like, what do I want to do? And I think this is kind of part of why I held off on filming this video for a bit, because it took me a while to figure out how I wanted to say this in a way that was not just me ranting, but could actually be helpful for you all. So this might be kind of a hot take, but for me personally, and this is nothing against anyone who does want to set nail polish goals in terms of like having a tracking spreadsheet, saying that they're going to limit themselves to like buying only X number of new polishes this year, or saying they need to use up a certain amount of polish in the year, anything like that. I want to say that if you are someone like me who doesn't want to apply that type of thinking and process towards your nail polish hobby, that is absolutely okay. And I will say this as someone who loves data and goals and all that stuff in so many other parts of my life. Like, one of the things I was going to talk about later is like other hobbies and things. And I'm really into running. And so I've got a spreadsheet for that. I also really love, what was the other thing I was gonna say for this? I even have spreadsheets for just like other random stuff where I just like conditional formatting in spreadsheets. So, I like to stay organized in that way. At work, of course, there's always like this time of year, we have to do our individual self-assessments and figure out what our goals are for the year and things like that. So what I'm getting at is, for me personally, there are so many parts of my life. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. Health is another thing where I have like spreadsheets. I knew there was another thing. There's so many other parts of my life that are, this isn't a word, metricized, filled with metrics is what I'm getting at. That when I think about the way that I want to engage with nail polish, I personally see nail polish as the part of my life where I can fully escape from all of that, and I can enjoy this hobby for whatever I want it to be without me feeling that I need to apply numbers to it, or that I need to check in on my progress or something like that. Once again, I think that especially if you are choosing to go on a no buy or a low buy this year, and if you have found it helpful for you in other parts of your life to have spreadsheets and tracking charts and apps and things like that, by all means, please do feel free to continue doing that. But I think I just wanted to put this out there for those of you who, like me, have been seeing all of these videos and posts from people who have been talking about what their personal goals are for this year, but not quite seeing yourself represented in that. And I'm not saying that anyone else has to make you feel represented, but what I am saying is that I just want to put this out there as another option. What I am planning to do is, I have some ideas in mind, and these ideas might change as the year goes on, and that's cool too. But it's not going to be anything that I'm going to hold myself to in writing, or make myself feel bad if I don't do that. So the two things that I put on here that I do want to plan to do for this year: go through all of my untried polishes and do a few destashes. And if I can do those things, that's cool. If I happen to not have that happen, that's cool too. As it is right now, my destash pile is at, I'm not looking over there like I can count them up right now. I think the last I counted, there's like 30 in there, but as I've mentioned in my Dstash 101 and 201 videos, which by the way, I'll link in the comments if you haven't seen those, definitely I'm gonna wait until I'm in a much better headspace to be able to take on the full task of doing a destash, because what I don't want to do is make a destash post, but then I know I don't have the energy to go to the post office right now. Or I don't have the energy to be packing things up. So whenever I do feel like doing that again, I will. But until then, that's just kind of, it's just kind of free flowing for me. Next, I want to talk about exploring ways that you can get more use out of your collection as a strategy for being able to stick to a no buy or a low buy. And this is getting back to what I mentioned before about how this topic is something I've actually been really touching on in just about all my videos lately, especially the ones where I have one series where I've been talking about my favorite nail polishes. I'll put a link to all these videos in the description, by the way, in case you need to check those out. One thing I've talked about is my favorite different types of toppers. If you're new here, once again, hi. my name is Olivia and I love toppers. I just like, I love them. I know a lot of people don't, and that is why I've kind of made it my mission to help other people love toppers too. And so for example, like if you're looking at this and thinking like, okay, but Olivia, you're saying like, this is about being on a no buy or a low buy. So how's it going to help me to like watch your video and I'm going to feel tempted to buy more nail polish? You know, possibly. But the way I recommend that you look at those is to say like, for instance, if there's a video where I talk about like my, I think the most recent one, I talked about my favorite black, silver, and gold flake toppers. Suppose you have some of those similar ones in your collection too, but you just haven't really been using them because you aren't quite sure what other kind of colors or finishes they might work best with. And so what I do in those videos is give some examples and ideas of what I have personally found to be helpful for layering them, for using them with others. So I often say that a really great strategy could be to get a swatch wheel or some swatch sticks, however you want to go about doing it. And then once you have done some experimenting and you figure out what combinations work, put them on a swatch wheel or some swatch sticks. And then when you are having a moment where you sit down and do your nails and you're just like, I have nothing to wear, but you know that's not true because you got like 400 nail polishes, you just don't know which ones. That can be where you go back to those combinations, and then you've already basically done the thinking ahead of time, and so you can just reference what you've already paired together, and it's like a library of go-to combinations. Another video I recently did that I highly want to encourage you all to check out if you haven't already done so is the one that I recently did about using color theory with nail polish. If you can't tell from like some of the stuff behind me, I'm really into art history and just the use of color. I'm a very colorful person, and I just thought it would be fun to do a video where I teach you all how to pair some basic elements of color theory to nail polish selection. And that is a good one to check out if you are trying to figure out good ways to create Skittle color combinations. And why I think this can be helpful, going back to the topic of dopamine that we talked about earlier, I know my brain is always craving the concept of something new. And it's easy to say, okay, I know I can fill in that blank or fulfill that need by buying something new. But when you do something like coming up with a new topper combination or coming up with a new color combination of bringing polishes together, you're using polishes that you already own, but because you're bringing them together in a new way. Sorry, my phone started ringing and my husband was calling. I'm trying to remember what I was talking about. Oh, dopamine rush. So yeah, my key takeaway here is just to, when you find yourself wanting to buy some new nail polish, first, before you do that, pause and ask yourself, when was the last time that you went through your existing collection and tried to come up with something new? And also, I do encourage you all to check out my videos in the Did I Nail It series, because that's where you can see some dupe attempts. A big part of why I always choose for those videos to have the thumbnail be the like swatch wheel for the dupe attempts for that video is so that even if it's the case that there's one of those videos from like months ago, and I know like for say Polish Pickup or HHC, those polishes are no longer available. But if you're scrolling through my list of videos in that playlist, you can look at the thumbnail and see, for example, there's like a teal shimmer polish in there. I've been wanting something like that. How did Olivia dupe that? So, you know, you can still get some ideas that way. The next suggestion I have for being able to stick to a no buy or a low buy is to find other ways outside of shopping to engage with nail polish. And one way that you can do this is to, you know, ask yourself like, which part of nail polish most interests you, and then go and teach other people about that. So like, for example, layering nail polishes was something that I started to realize I was like, not only was I kind of good at it, but I also enjoyed it. It I consider myself to be a very witchy person. I mean, not that this shirt is giving it away, but I'm a very witchy like person. I love the idea of like mixing things together and layering them together. Whenever I do my like dupe attempts, I feel like I'm making a potion and stuff like that. It's just like, that it's just kind of my vibe. So once I realized that that was something that really appealed to me, I took that and then I combined it with my love of teaching, and then this channel was created. And the more time that I have spent with filming videos, with not just filming videos, but like planning videos and editing my videos and interacting with you all here, that all of those things, when I'm doing that, you know what I'm not doing? Shopping. And so if you are looking for other ways to like engage with nail polish, think about which aspect of this hobby really appeals to you. Let's say, for example, you're really into chemistry and you just are fascinated by chemistry in general, and you are into the nail polish hobby, and maybe you also have a passion for teaching. That is a YouTube channel that I would love to subscribe to and learn about. And I just feel that the more that you are able to do these types of things, once again, and this goes back to what I've been saying throughout this video, dopamine. I mean, that has been such a great way for me to get that rush of doing something new. And I always have options for this. Like the other night, actually, I was sitting here in my office / craft / nail room, and my husband came in here to sit and join me for a bit, and he asked what I was up to, and I explained how there's different types of videos that I film on this channel, and depending on the mood that I'm in on any given day, it's nice that I've got the option to go through my list of upcoming videos and decide, okay, am I in a pretty upbeat mood where I'm able to go and film a video that's going to require me to do a lot more talking about my thought process and talking through various options? Or like the other night, it was a long day. I just was very tired and exhausted at the end of the day, and I mean, just to be completely honest, it had been such a long day with a combination of a number of things. I ended up crying at the end of the day. I'm fine now. It was just a lot of things kind of hit at the same time, and I was just like crying. And then what happened was that I deal with like sensory issues a lot, and like that was a big example of like sensory overload for me, where I like was so sensory overloaded from all of that crying that I couldn't even fathom the idea of doing my nails, because that would have been like introducing more sensory stuff, like physically especially, and I just cannot do that. So what I'm getting at is that night, that was actually the night I was planning on filming this video, but after doing a bunch of crying, I was like, this isn't really the kind of energy I want to bring into my video, so let me maybe postpone that, and I'm glad I did. But what I was able to do was spend some time sitting and planning out one of my next videos, where I am talking about some more of my favorite flake toppers. What I do for that is I kind of had to pull out, how many do I have left? There's currently like 40 polishes I have sitting on the floor right now, because those are all the ones that I've kind of gone through to try out for like this video I'm talking about, where I'm going through various topper and base polish combinations, and like some combinations worked, some didn't, and everything. So like that's a kind of activity that I love being able to do on a day when I'm feeling just really low, where I don't have the energy to talk, but I do still want to do something with nail polish. And so with that, what I get to do is like pull out nail polishes from my collection and see what goes with what. And then when I find something that works, I then put that on the swatch wheel that I use, that I have like for all of those videos where I end up like doing a whole swatch wheel. I always have one that I've like prepped out in advance that's off to the side so that I can like for my favorites, not for the did I nail it, because I do those on the fly. But anyway, I'm rambling. What I'm getting at is that for me was as I think about this, on a night where I just felt so emotionally drained for so many reasons, like, you ever have a time where like you start crying and you go into it and you know why you're crying, you just kind of have to get through that, but then through the process of crying and talking it out, you start to find more reasons in there that make you cry more. Yeah, I was a mess. So I think it's amazing that with all of that happening, I didn't then go and buy more nail polish. Instead, what I did, once I was in a good enough spot, I said, okay, I still want to do something that relates to this hobby. And instead, what I did was that I played with polish and watched How to Get Away with Murder, and felt like I was channeling my inner Viola Davis and just being like, I'm a mess, but I'm good, So yeah. So my recommendation here is, please do spend some time thinking about what is it that you love about this hobby. And also, once you have found what those things are, then take a step further to go and share that passion with other people. I mean, I can't stress enough how I just really was unsure about the idea of doing a YouTube channel. I was like, I don't know, but something was just drawing me to that, right? And I think that especially if you are someone who is going through a no buy, you're going through a low buy, you also have insights into this that are personal and unique to you that you could help other people to learn about. So I'm not saying that everyone needs to start a YouTube channel, because don't get me wrong, it does take time and effort to put into it. But even if all that you do is make like a Reddit post and recap some lessons learned, hey, when you're sitting down and writing that Reddit post, you know what you're not doing? Shopping. So yeah. And another thing that I would recommend as a way to engage with nail polish would be to do some nail art. That has been a really fun outlet for me on this channel. Y'all know there have been some really questionable outputs that I have had from my nail art. Just thinking back, for example, there was like this one, I think like an eyeball that ended up looking like a minion. There was a reindeer that was kind of traumatized. I had seen some stuff because his eyes were kind of wonky, but I've had fun with all of that. And it's a great way to be able to get some use out of polishes in your collection that you don't really wear on a regular basis. Like I remember in one of my most recent nail art videos, it ended up being like this one polish that I have not worn, I don't think ever, but it's been stored away. It turned out to be the perfect burnt orange color. And I had been considering destashing it, but now I'm like, okay, this actually works pretty well for nail art. Let me keep this around and see what else I can do with it for nail art. I always love to give you all a kind of preview of some of the stuff that I have coming up. So if you are into nail art or trying to get into nail art, do know that I am in the process of planning and will be filming a nail art video to celebrate Black History Month coming up. Yay! I keep going back and forth over a few different options that I've got for that, but I think I've settled on the most likely approach that I want to do, because I want it to be something where people who are Black, like me, can feel proud and comfortable and confident to wear these designs. But I also want it to be the case that anyone who is not Black, who does want to celebrate Black History Month, can do so in a way where you can also feel proud and confident as an ally to wear these designs as well. So be on the lookout for that. And so the last part of this that I have as a way to help you stick to a no buy or a low buy is to spend some time or spend some more time engaging with your other hobbies outside of nail polish. Now, don't get me wrong, I am someone who is very familiar with the concept of hyperfixation. I sometimes will go, okay, I might, some of y'all might feel really called out by what I'm going to describe right now, but I'm just going to say that when I describe this, I'm describing myself, so you might be able to relate. But like, have you ever had it where you discover a new hobby and then you get so drawn into it, it becomes your whole personality? You then go and you just started doing that hobby like, you know, a couple days ago, but yet you have just gone all in. You bought all the supplies, all the different tools and equipment and options that you need for it, and then you do it for another couple days and then you never touch it again. I have done that with many a hobby. And so I'm actually very surprised that nail polish stuck around or has stuck around for me for as long as it has. I started doing nail polish in June or July of 2020, whatever, 2024. I had to think about that. So if you haven't watched my Q&A, get to know me video, which I'll also link that. I think one of the things I mentioned in there was the reason I got into nail polish was that, as you can see, I have bright red hair, and I had this hair color for a couple years and was at that point and was just struggling with the reality of every time that I would wash my hair, my nails, like my bare nails, would get stained and just look very red and like not good. And so I thought, let me just see if nail polish could be a thing. And so here I am. You know, time flies. But even my husband has said to me, he's like, wow, like this is the longest hobby I think he has ever seen me stick to. And I just keep going even further in it. With that being said, though, I increasingly lately have been wanting to be even more mindful about ensuring that I don't neglect my other hobbies that I have outside of nail polish, because I feel that, again, at least for me, when I start to get too buried into one single hobby, what can happen is that it then leads me to have a whole lot of tunnel vision and then wanting to continue digging more and more and have more and more. And that can lead to me wanting to feel like I need to spend more and more. I think it's so important for me to ensure that I am not over-indexing on any one thing in my life, and to try to be intentional about having some kind of balance in how I'm choosing to spend my time, how I'm choosing to spend my money, and so on. And I know I've talked a little bit like here and there about other hobbies that I have, but you know, since this is a chatty video, let me tell you all some more about that. So just so you can get a sense of like who I am, like outside of this channel, outside of nail polish, what are the other things that I do that are part of the Olivia experience, as it were. And yeah, so one thing that I love to do is reading. I have my Kindle Paperwhite. I always have my Kindle with me. Like whenever I go on vacation, like I actually have a cruise vacation coming up in a couple weeks. So my plan for that is to be on a boat for a week, bring my Kindle, and find a nice cozy spot on the boat and just read for like 5 hours a day, and then like do karaoke and like see some shows and just have a blast. But yeah, I love reading. My favorite genres are thrillers and biographies and memoirs. So if you have any good book recommendations in those categories, I would love to hear them. I also, what else do I do? Running is something that I'm into. I have run, I think I've done 11 half marathons and 1 full marathon. I always told myself that after I did the Chicago Marathon, I was gonna be like a one and done. Like, y'all, Chicago is a very flat city. And so I thought running 26.2 miles around Chicago, it's flat, it's fine. The 0.2 and the 26.2 of the Chicago Marathon is up a hill. Like the one and only like hill on that course, uphill. They make you like right before you get to the finish line. It is so mean, but I did that. And then I crossed the finish line and then took a cute photo and then proceeded to pass out into a bush because I was tired. I told myself I ain't never doing that again. But then the other day, I don't know what came over me, but I went through and did this before I could talk myself out of it. I decided to sign up to run my 2nd full marathon, which I'll be doing later this year, towards the very end of this year. It's the Honolulu Marathon in Hawaii, and it's been on my bucket list of races to do, and for a very long time now. I told myself if I'm ever going to do a 2nd marathon, it would be in Hawaii. First of all, because I just think Hawaii is a beautiful place, and I look at it, I'm like, you know what? If I start to feel like this is during the race, if I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing another marathon? Just reframe it. I'm just taking the scenic route around the island. That's all that is. So I'm looking forward to doing that, training for that. I have my next half marathon coming up in April, I think. So I've got a couple months to get ready for that. I personally love half marathons as a really good distance where like I can train for them without needing to feel like I'm giving up the entire rest of my life. Like I don't have to go out and be like, oh, it's Saturday, what am I doing? Oh, running 16 miles. Ugh, you know, I can go out, do it, have fun, come back home. So yeah, running is another hobby that I have. Another hobby that I do is dancing. I've been tap dancing, jazz hands, for like 16 years now. I absolutely love it, and I take classes for that on Monday nights, and then I've been doing the Monday night schedule I've had for like the past since the fall. It's been really fun. I think especially when in the fall when it gets really dark, very early. So for me, having something that like gets me out of the house has been very helpful for that. And then because I had so much fun with that, I thought, well, let me see what other classes that my dance school offers. And I decided to sign up this term for not just Monday night tap, but Tuesday night musical theater dance. And it's great because like these dance classes are just filled with, they're like adult dance classes. So you get to just go hang out, make friends, you know, learn some choreography. Like last week we did a routine from Chicago, the musical. This week we did one from Wicked. So like Wicked up there. And it was just a blast. So these are all things that, let me think, is there anything else I'm missing? Oh, yeah. The other thing that I do is I'm really into crafting. I love diamond painting. Like this Mario over there is actually a diamond painted Mario. Diamond painting, if you've never done it before, I would say it is a hobby that you're either gonna really love it or you're gonna hate it. There's just like, I've never met anyone who's like neutral on diamond painting. People are either like, oh, this seems like the most relaxing thing ever, or they're like, it is the most annoying thing ever, to put that away. For me, it's very calming, very relaxing. So I know that that's like the life of Olivia there, but I'm just sharing all of this to say, I know that you all are here to like, get to know me in the context of like nail polish, and this is absolutely like what I love doing on this channel. I just want you all to know that, to give you all some examples of things that I do in my life outside of nail polish, so that like it makes it so that I'm able to have some more balance when I interact with this hobby, and that I'm not putting all of my eggs in one single basket. And it makes it so that if I do happen to take like a day or so away from nail polish things, I then come back to it and I feel like I'm meeting an old friend again. And it's also really cool to have some overlap there as well. So like, okay, earlier this week, like I said, in the musical theater class, we did a dance from Wicked, and I did not plan this at all. I was just like getting ready for dance class. I was looking through my closet and figuring out what top I wanted to wear. And as a theater adult, I have a ton of like musical theater related shirts. And so I decided to wear one that I had about Wicked. It's one that I think I actually wore it. Did I wear it to when I was at the Polish and Beauty Expo last year? I wore it. It says "Holding Space." It's a reference from the Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, like the thing like that. But the Cynthia hand has nails that are painted green, and the Ariana hand on this side has nails that are painted pink. So y'all know what I did. I was wearing that shirt that had a green nail hand over here and a pink nail hand over here, and I had a green and a pink hand. And then I show up to class, and then our teacher's like, hey, today's dance is from Wicked. And everyone's just like, oh my God. And it was just perfect. So that has been a fun way for me to like have my nail polish be even more so like part of the way that I am out in the world. And, you know, something like that gave the other people in the class an opportunity to get to know more about me and who I am, because like they're just like, wait, how did you like greet and paint, like what? And especially when people see you like week after week and they see like I always have different types and colors of glasses on. So we get to talk about how I'm into fashion. I always have different nail polish on. So we get to talk about how I'm into nail polish and so on. So what I'm saying is, if you are starting to find that your love of nail polish is becoming a little bit much for you, if you're starting to realize it's been a while since you spent any considerable amount of time focusing on your hobbies outside of nail polish, see what you can do to diversify. And it's not to say that you have to give up nail polish, absolutely not, but just make sure that you are watering the other parts of your life. Oh yeah, plants. I love plants. Sorry, I'm just all over the place today. I love plants as well. It is it's kind of hard here in the Midwest in the winter to like be able to like I mean, indoor plants are a thing, I know, but yeah, I do love plants. I love nature. When the weather's nice, I love being able to get outside and go on walks. Anyway, you know, as I'm starting to wrap this up, I just want to say that I hope that these tips that I've shared throughout this video, even if it's just one or two that most resonate with you, I hope that you all have been able to find something here that can help give you some strategies, give you the strength to know that you've got it when it comes to sticking to a no buy or a low buy. If you find yourself starting to constantly go and load up a shopping cart and buy more and more polish, just know that it's okay to not have it quite figured out as far as like what you want to do to fix that. But do know that it is important to ensure that you check in with yourself on a regular basis and have some understanding of what your baseline of normal is, so that if you do start to notice yourself shopping more and more frequently, you know, ask yourself why that might be. Yeah. Anyway, thank you all for watching so much. I really do appreciate, especially those of you who have been telling me that having this kind of content has been so helpful for you to know that you're not alone when it comes to wanting to set better financial goals for yourself around nail polish and be more intentional about not giving into overconsumption and things like that. So if you are new here and not yet subscribed, I do encourage you to subscribe so that you can stay in the loop on some of these upcoming video topics that I mentioned. Because yeah, my whole vibe here is like, I'm not going to be someone to tell you like don't buy any nail polish ever, but I will tell you that Whatever you do, just do it with intention and do it in a way that's going to be meaningful and sustainable for you. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna go do some diamond painting or something like that, because like I said, we've got other hobbies. We can do that too. All right. Thank you all again so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.